Hey, friends. I love to think about what the future of the church will look like. I love to think about what the Big C church, what are the movements? What are the things that this individual church is going to be like come the future? Is it going to look like a Trinity Broadcasting Network episode with Dino playing his piano that is encrusted with crystals? Does it look like a Shane Claiborne hemp necklace with handmade clothes, with a deciding that we're gonna all eat out of dumpsters? I might be taking a risk by saying these, especially with the two extremes, but maybe. The future is still a mystery, at least to us. See, much of what God calls us to is not necessarily what we're to do, but how to do it. It's not always about actions, but the reason behind the actions. Living in the places and times that we've been given, using the gifts that we've been given, all for the glory of God. I think Jesus in Matthew 5 gives us a glimpse of what the church really should look like. You know, he uses this example of salt and light, both simple things, neither needing something to do something extraordinary to affect the environment around them, other than be what God has already created them to be. Salt in this culture had two purposes: one, to preserve food, and second, to season, to accentuate the flavors of food. The primary function of light is not to be seen, but to let things be seen as they really are. It reveals. If the light goes off in your house and you find a flashlight that you place in the one perfect spot, you use the light to see around the room, maneuver around your house. You don't turn on a flashlight in a dark room just to stare at the light. You do it to expose the truth of the room. As we live as light, as we expose the truth of the gospel, what we see is the hope we have in Christ. We see the hope of the new creation. We see, as we receive the light of Christ, we shine. We are the light. And as the light, we reveal the truth of God and the hope that we have in this world. So, what does the future of the church look like? What are we called to do? Well, that one's easy. We're called to be the salt, the thing that accentuates and projects God's tastiness. We're called to be the light that shines the truth of the gospel. We're called to live authentically, being that salt and light, being God, who God has created us to be. And when we do that, God will be glorified. And when we do that, we will be the church.